All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this week's live coaching call, special Wednesday edition. Um, Special edition because we normally have these calls on Wednesdays, but we're doing it today simply because we just felt like we want to continue giving you actual, real weekly live calls. We could have easily just kind of maybe did a replay or just kind of put something in there to substitute because of the holiday, but it was an easy choice for us to say, you know what, let's keep it. Let's just move it over a day over to Wednesday. So here we are. So I'm hoping everybody got that email about the call being today. Okay. So hopefully you got that, and people will be jumping on pretty soon. All right. So anyway, this call is really a subject that I absolutely love, which is talking about traffic and conversion. When it comes to lead generation, there's two components when it comes to lead generation, which is traffic. And all traffic means is getting people to your site. You know, how are people getting to your site? Where are you going to get people to your site? What platform are you using? When I say platform, I'm talking about Google, Facebook, Craigslist, direct mail, videos. Like, those are all platforms. And then conversion, very simple. Conversion just simply means whether someone engaged with you. So there's really two typical ways that people do that on their websites, which is either fill out the form or give you a call. So, one is a little bit easier to, let me just make sure everything is good here first, guys. Give me just a second. All right, awesome. Okay, I just want to make sure that we have our chat box open. All right. Okay, awesome. So, and conversion again is just simply once they can't come to your site, did they do what you wanted them to do? And for us, with our websites, that's either them filling out the form or giving us a call. So that's what this call is about. So that's a really quick introduction summary of this call. So let's get started. And before we do that, let's talk some housekeeping stuff. New content to check out this week. First of all, first one is on the most recent CareCast. The title is The Ripe Mobile Home Market, and how this guy, talking about Harvey, is exploiting its riches with how basically Harvey has found this awesome tongue twister there, awesome niche in his own market. And one of the things that I really love about this story is that Harvey was going after the same deals as everybody else, which is single family home. He was wholesaling, but because of the fierce competition, because of the market changing, he adjusted. He reevaluated his strategy. You know, he found a hole. If you want to look at it that way, he found a hole that needed to be filled, and now he's very successful in it. With it. And also this CareCast, I believe, was actually recorded while he was up in Roseburg. He did come up to Oregon, Carrot headquarters, and spent a few days up there with the team and Trevor, and the team got a chance to really dive in, help him even fine-tune his marketing with the Carrot system. So check that out. Very, very cool episode. Over in the blog section of the Carrot website, direct mail strategy for real estate investors, a case study with our clients, and really, really cool insight from some clients already with them, Investor Carrot, and also from Brad Chandler. He's not technically a client, but some that we have done a lot of testing with, and he's one of the biggest home buyers. So definitely worth checking out. So that's our most recent blog post. And then another CareCast is Trevor's insight on his recent trip up to one of the biggest real estate investing mastermind in the country. And he really kind of breaks down the one key takeaway that he brought, that would bring you more business. So I know me and him had talked about, just really what his experience was. And he was really very, very impressed with that. And so make sure you guys are checking that out. So, all right, before we actually get started, we did get started, but if there is someone that can tell me that you can see and hear my screen, see my screen, and also hear me loud and clear, please, if you can, send through a double yes. Just want to make sure that the visual and the audio are working fine. With technology, you can never tell. So, so again, this is the new content that you will want to check out, and also the Carrot Cast. Make sure you leave us feedback. Give us whether you liked it, whether you hated it, whatever it is, whatever feedback you can provide it for us. I know we love that. I know Trevor is really big on improvements, better ways, and cover things that are going to be more helpful to you, and things that you would get out of it. So any suggestions, what is topic, just current idea, feedback about the current content, please let us know. And if you have not subscribed, please do so as well. All right, weekly dose of awesomeness. One of my favorite items to cover is weekly dose of awesomeness. This is just really our members reaching out to Carrot. And sometimes you'll be amazed how many people are not Carrot members. They give us feedback, talking about the Carrot Cast. So many people have reached out to Carrot and Trevor, thanking Trevor and Carrot for bringing out awesome content through the Carrot Cast, and just how it's transforming or really shifting the mindset of many of the things that we've talked about, or Trevor's talked about with his guests on each episode. So this one actually is about the Carrot Cast. Bro, you're killing it on these episodes. This is very timely for me. This is so timely for me right now. I'm leaning on this episode and the one on core values, plus traction, plus life and air to help me get clear on our core values, mission, vision, etc. And that comes from Alex Pardo. Alex Pardo is he has his own awesome podcast himself, and also current Carrot member. So awesome to see the value that he's getting out of it. And definitely Alex is not a newbie. So awesome to see. I think that actually the episode that Alex was talking about is my non-negotiables in business and life. So if you guys have not seen that or heard that, check it out over at the Carrot Cast. I'm not sure which episode that is, to be honest with you, but the title is My Negotiables in Business and in Life. So super, super awesome. So, all right. Let's just make sure everything's good. All right. All right. Awesome. All right. Cool. All right. Just want to make sure we're good. So your coach for today. My name is Adrian Nez. I am part of the customer success team, and also head of customer strategy. That comes from me being a customer myself, and an active user of the Carrot system. Absolutely love it. Couldn't say I am where I am in the real estate business without the Carrot system. So now love that I'm in a position to where I can teach you how to strategically utilize it for your business. And strategically, I say that because we know that not one approach is going to cut it. Everything is based on what your resources are, what you're willing to put in. And through that, we're able to put together a strategy plan. And part of my job is also to do these weekly coaching calls, which I absolutely love, because I just love the topic of online lead generation, simply because I've been doing it myself, only using the Carrot sites and also YouTube marketing, and primarily through SEO and pay-per-click. I've been full-time since 2009. Again, passionate about teaching other investors about inbound marketing. And I live in Wilmington, North Carolina. And that's one of the cool things I love about what I do, is I can do all of this no matter where I live, whether it's my position with Carrot, and also even in my wholesale business. Do a lot of deals in different markets all across the country, and just love what I do. So very blessed. So that's me. And if you have not been on the previous Carrot coaching call, or actually this is your first coaching call, please let me know that as well. We want to make sure that we welcome you in and say hello. Just let us know that this is your first Carrot Cast, or maybe, Carrot Cast. I'm so stuck in Carrot Cast right now. Carrot coaching call. Let me know. We want to make sure that we say hello and welcome you in. So jumping right into it, this is actually one of the questions that I get quite a bit is I have a lot of traffic, but I have very few leads. Am I targeting the right people? And so one of the things I've been seeing a lot lately in the one-on-one strategy calls, it is a lot of people tend to think that when they're seeing a lot of traffic, and most of the times they're seeing this traffic through on the back end, and I'll dive a little bit more into that here shortly. And they see a lot of traffic coming through, and when there's no conversion happening, of course, there's a question: what's wrong? Is there something wrong with the website? Am I doing something wrong? Right. So there's a lot of factors that can go into what's causing a possible issue, but most times it's not really even a conversion issue. Most times it's a conversion issue, or sometimes you're just not marketing in the right place. And I'll explain what I mean by that during this call. So this is kind of crossed your mind, this call's for you. And I'm really, really excited because, again, this is one of my favorite topics when it comes to online lead generation. So, all right. And also, by the way, how was everybody's 4th of July? Hopefully you guys had a safe and refreshing time. I know I did with the family. I just got back from Roseburg, from Oregon. I was up there for a week, had a great time with the Carrot team. If you follow me on Facebook, I'm sure you've seen pictures and some videos, and it was very, very awesome. It's always awesome to be up there with the team. So, but hopefully you guys able to get some R&R. So, all right. All right, I think we're ready to go. All right, so again, what we're going to do is really, I'm going to show you exactly why you're not getting the amount of conversions you like to get and how to get more conversions. Again, I'll explain why you're lacking conversions. Probably isn't a conversion issue, but a traffic issue. And also really what the difference between traffic and conversion is and how to get a little bit more of each. And if you do have a conversion issue, because I don't want to always assume it's not a conversion issue, how you can fix it. So, and hopefully if we have enough engagement, which I encourage a lot of that, we might be able to dive into some live accounts and maybe take a look at your account. So super, super excited about this call. So, all right, that's what this call is about. So let's get going. So again, this is really not a new topic that we have discussed. I know Trevor has done, in this case, you see that he's done a whiteboard video about really what could be the cause of low or no leads. Okay. And a lot of times what happens is, of course, everything starts with traffic. And again, I'm going to try and stay away from using too many marketing terminology, but I also believe it's important that you understand a lot of these terminology is because, again, we're not in the real estate business, but we're in the marketing business. Okay. So as you begin to understand what a lot of these terminologies, as you go out and do your own study, as you learn to be a better marketer, which I really encourage everyone to do, be a student of marketing. Yes, we have a lot of great material here at Carrot. We got the whiteboard videos. We got the Carrot Cast. We got the tutorials, the training. I mean, we got plenty of training that we offer, but don't be afraid to step out and become a student of marketing. Pay attention to billboards. As you're walking through the grocery store, as you go through the aisles where the magazines are placed. A lot of these tabloids like the Inquirer, they use technique to get people's attention. So study that, pay attention to it. Sometimes I'll catch myself taking pictures of a headliner that really got my attention because I'm not into that stuff, but it got my attention and I want to study why that got my attention. So become a student of marketing. Because most times the lack of traffic is going to come because of lack of marketing. Okay. That's something that you just going to have to dive in is you got to market. Now, of course, there's ways to market at no cost, but are those always the best way to market? No, it could be, but you know, especially if you're looking to establish yourself and the website to where it's producing leads for you, right? Now, of course, you can utilize your website to generate, let's say you can drive traffic to your website, let's say through your direct mail or through some offline marketing that you might doing. But if you want to utilize the website to where people are finding you, to where the website is actually working for you, which is one of the big things that is kind of our core strengths here, is really about inbound marketing. Okay, so let's cover what inbound marketing is. So inbound marketing is simply attracting people to come to you. That's really as simple as it gets. Inbound marketing is people coming to you versus outbound marketing. That's you, let's say cold calling. Cold calling is a great example of outbound marketing, or direct mail is a good example of outbound marketing. Okay, so inbound would be where, let's say someone goes to Google, does a search, whether it's a particular keyword or phrase, and they have these options. They're clicking on one and they engage from there. So that's inbound. So that's one of the things that we really love talking about here at Carrot, and that's really one of the best ways to leverage the Investor Carrot system. So, so again, one of the main reasons why traffic or lack of traffic, why there's a lack of traffic, is just there's just not enough marketing. Okay, so very, very important that you understand that you got to market. Something that a mentor of mine told me early in my career is you got to have that mindset shift when you come into this business. And that mindset shift is, I know in this business, many of us, including myself, we love the idea of being able to buy homes or getting to houses or into investment properties without no money down, right? Literally, we can do it with no money down. I remember doing my first wholesale deal, made $5,000, no money out of pocket. I was fortunate to find an attorney who was able to do a double closing, right? To where I used the funds of the cash buyer to do the acquisition, and I literally had no money, and I made $5,000. That's what I love about wholesaling and having the right resources. So, but again, that's not always the norm. But I guess my point is, you gotta market. You gotta market, and that mindset shift is what I was talking about. Sorry, that mindset shift is that yes, you can buy houses with no money down, but you can't have that mindset with marketing. You know, you can't always depend on free marketing or put everything on free marketing. You know, so I know that a lot of times we're starting out with no resources or very little resources, and that's where cold calling can be beneficial. That's where doing Craigslist ads, Facebook ads, you know, or just putting classified ads. You know, those are very economical and free ways to do it. But is that going to be your most effective? Not always. So, so a lot of times, if you're just don't have traffic, it's just simply because you're just not marketing. So time to make that mindset shift from becoming a marketer and finding ways to come up with ways to invest more into your marketing. Okay. So, so anyways, so a lot of times it's just lack of marketing. Okay. So, and a lot of times quality, you know, quality really is dependent on where you're marketing, you know, and also what is it you're presenting? You know, sometimes we're not very clear in our message. We might be getting people to our site, but if our message is not clear, sometimes that could cause someone to go elsewhere because there's some confusion. And that's one thing I really want to emphasize on this call is we can't assume everyone knows what we do is legit. Most people will come to our site suspicious. Most people will come to our coming to us wanting to know if this is legit, right? Because people's most common knowledge of real estate is traditional real estate. So when you say something like, you know, I can sell my house. Do you want to sell your house fast? You know, that one little sentence can make them assume that you're a realtor, right? So what happens if that person is looking for a realtor? They might click on your ad, go to your website. Then what happens? Wait a minute, this is one of those house buying companies. I'm looking for a realtor. I'm not looking for this. And what happens? They bounce for your website, right? So again, that's a perfect example why a lot of times we see a lot of let's say our ads are being clicked on. We're getting a lot of people to our site, but very few people are engaging. And a lot of times the easiest solution we think is, okay, something's wrong with the website. But really, you got to dig deep and wonder, okay, what's really the problem here? And that's one of the cool things with my coach. I have a golf coach. I love, been learning a lot of business principles, just taking golf lessons. One of the cool things with my coach said, he goes, learn how on every shot, why that shot wasn't as accurate as you want it to be. So that instead of just kind of just going up there trying to hack away, and then you miss a shot, you get frustrated, and then you kept trying, he helped me break down why this, maybe why I didn't get the results I was looking for. So the same thing with your lead generation. If you're not getting the results you're looking for, don't get in the habit of just assume that something's wrong with the website. Learn how to break down and step back and reach out for help. That's what we're here for at Investor Carrot. Reach out for help. That's what the strategy calls for, and that's what the coaching calls are for. So, all right. So talk about some of the stuff that can influence. So we're going to kind of touch some stuff, and then we're going to take a look at some a website. So, but some of the stuff might be reviewed, but it's worth repeating. So a lot of times, if you are getting traffic, let's say you are posting ads on Facebook, you are posting ads on Craigslist, you're getting traffic. One of the main things that I'm seeing that's overlooked the most with a lot of our members, I shouldn't say a lot, but a good chunk of people, is that they're not personalizing the website. Okay, they're not going that extra mile to set up that foundation to personalize the website. Because now what happens is, if you're not personalizing the website, now you're just another house buying company. You're just another investor saying the same thing as everybody else. And when you're in a cluttered market, when you're in a competitive market, that's just not going to cut it. You got to find ways to stand out. And many of those things is through credibility. The study that was done by Stanford shows really 10 elements that's influencing credibility on a website. So just a few: making it easy to verify the accuracy of your information on your website. Showing there's a real organization behind your site. And number two, I really believe, number two and number three, okay, show that honest and trustworthy people to stand behind your site. Okay, I believe number two and number four are so important for the industry that we're in. Okay, very important. Okay, because what did I say earlier? When me and you talk about how we buy houses, it's so elementary to us. It's our language, it's our lingo, right? But when it comes to a motivated seller, again, when you tell someone who knows only traditional real estate, and someone like me or you comes along and says, we can buy your house in 7 days, we're willing to pay you all cash without you having to make any repairs. You can walk away without making any repairs. What's another one? We can do a fast closing. I think I already covered on that. No contingencies. So when we say all these things that's contrary to their knowledge, what they perceive as a real estate transaction, there are going to be questions. There are going to be doubt. There is going to be question marks. So we got to be putting ourselves in a position to where we're adding that credibility. Okay. So, and a lot of times I know a lot of people will tell me, hey, I haven't done a deal yet. I don't know how to add credibility. Everybody has credibility. Who's this? That's why one of the things we teach in the Carrot Guide in phase 1, we say, if you can't get testimonials that are transitional based, like deals you've done, get some credibility based. What did I call it? There's a word that I use for the testimony. It's slipping my mind. But get the credibility, or get testimonials that are character based. That's what I was going to say. Character based. So for an example, I'm not saying you guys make this up. Please don't make these up. But let's say that prior to you doing real estate investing, you were a salesperson, or let's say that you served a mission and was under a certain ministry for 10 years, 5 years, whatever, or you just done a lot of business. Go back to those previous colleagues and get a testimonial. You know, I've known Billy for 5 years and done business with Billy, and he's never let me down. Or I've done business with Chuck, and Chuck is a man of integrity. He's never let me down. He's been a straight shooter. Okay. Those are credibility testimonials or character-based testimonials. And a lot of times I believe character-based can just be as powerful and maybe even more powerful than transitional-based testimonials, simply because people want to do business with someone that's going to follow through with what they say they're going to do and not waste their time. Okay. So I believe guideline number 1 and number 3 are number 2, number 4 are so important. Okay. So looks like we got some people hopping on. So Fred, awesome. Fred, welcome to the coaching call. And Michael, hey, Michael, how you doing? I just wanted to address everybody. So, so with that said, I mean, there's so many that we can go over, but I don't want to go through because we just want to make sure that we get through the training that I have. So here's a good example, you know, good example. So the website on the left, they pretty much only thing they've done is just change out the logo, which is better than nothing, right? I like the logo, looks sharp, but just really, there's just nothing to it. And then on the right, trusted home buyer, right? You see how not only did they put in their own logo, but also they personalized the site. You know, they're giving the perception that they're a local company, right? They've added some credibility factors, such as being part of the Better Business Bureau. And I like how they put it above the fold. And all above the fold means is what someone sees when they first land on your site without scrolling down. Okay, so I love that right there. And then right here, Martin, he is on the sidebar and just introducing himself. Goes back to what we talked about, showing that honest and trustworthy people stand behind your site. And a lot of times that's simply just being visible. You know, it amazes me how me and you can say the things that we say we can do, but refuse to introduce ourselves. You know, that's why a lot of people tend not to trust what we do, because we're not being more transparent. And one of the best ways to be transparent is just through your website and also even your company page. Okay. So, you know, so yeah. So, I mean, great point. Michael says, I just got that feedback the other day that from a seller who initially distrusted us, you know? So again, you got to understand the psychology behind that distrust and why people have. Sometimes we get offended. I know I did. I'm just being transparent. I know I got offended because, like, man, how dare you not trust me? You know, like I'm a good guy. I'm really wanting to help, and you know, you may not know that, but again, you know, because these people are looking for a way out. You know, they're desperate. I shouldn't say desperate, but they're motivated. And again, when you go against the grain of someone's knowledge, there's some obstacles you got to overcome. It's just not one of those things you can just easily convince someone, hey, I'm your solution, right? You got to learn how to take the skeleton out of the closet, you know? So, so just one of those things you got to understand. There are going to be skepticism. People are going to think you're a scam artist. Okay. So those are the things you got to work through. And one of the best ways to do that is just visually through your website. Okay. So yeah, that's awesome feedback. Michael, thanks for sharing that. Okay. So, again, elements to boost credibility and performance. So this is really, I think, is important. I think it's important overall, but if you're just getting started and you're cold calling, okay. If you're starting in real estate investing and you're starting with Carrot, your website is probably not going to be your best lead generator, especially if you're wanting to optimize your site for SEO, right? Or let's say you're starting with no budget. So pay-per-click is not really possible right now. Okay. Now, if you're working with a small budget, I encourage everyone to go back to call number 135. me and Brendan did a call on how to be effective even with a small budget with PPC. It was a great call. So let's say you're limited. Some of the things you may need to do, like for an example, like every time I hop on a strategy call with one of our members, one of the first things I ask them is, how vital is it that you do a deal in the next 30 days? Okay. And if they tell me that, hey, I need to do a deal in the next 30 days, then I tell them, you know what? Use your website more for credibility. Okay. And what I mean by that is I say, you're probably gonna have to do some cold calling. You're probably gonna have to go to Craigslist and start calling up landlords, start calling up people who have their houses for sale on Craigslist, or even your local newspaper. You might even be door knocking. You got to be out there prospecting, but use your website as credibility, because even though your credibility may not have produced that lead, it can still back you up and it can make that deal happen. I've heard it many, many, many times. Okay. So a good example, if you're cold calling people on Craigslist, say, hey, dear homeowner, you engage with them the way you normally do and say, hey, you know what? I know that you don't know who I am, and I'm sure you want to know that this is legit or credible, however you want to say it. Hey, tell you what, why don't you head over to my website and learn a little bit more about our company? You know, you can see my mug there. You see that I'm not a good looking guy. You know, make it fun. You know, and just explain it and just encourage people to go to your website, because you'd be amazed just that little incident of trust that can happen just because you have a website. You have somewhere that you're driving into that shows who you are. And also they can engage with your website. You know, they have a better understanding how this whole process works. Okay. Because that's a lot of feedback that people give is, I just came to the website because I want to know how this works. How does this whole thing happen? And then it goes back to, you know, they want to make sure it's legit, that it's not a scam artist, whatever. But if you guys are driving traffic through Craigslist, Facebook, cold calling, these are the things that you must do. Okay. You must do. Localize your pictures. Okay. I know one of the biggest feedbacks that we get is, hey, I noticed that. That's the words that they tell me. I noticed that you're a local company. Okay. So I know you guys are probably tired of me using my own website, but hey, it works. Okay. So here's my website, and you'll see how you know, the background is a picture of Pittsburgh. And I did that intentionally. Okay. Normally I like to use a local neighborhood in my in the cities that I'm targeting. But I know that Pittsburgh is a proud blue collar city, and there's a lot of recognized landmarks. So I decided to use downtown. Also decided to use I forgot what you call it, these the skyscape or I don't know what you call them. There's a certain term of these type of images to where it shows the outline of downtown. So when people first land on the site, boom, they see images of their own backyard, right? Now they feel a bit more comfort because we're perceived as a local company, even the phone number, all right? And you know, so that's one of the big things. Even in the company page, I put a picture of me and my family, you know, make us look real. And I just happen to have a picture of us at the Pittsburgh Zoo, which would just work out perfectly, right? So, and then in the company page, I talk about myself, but I make it about them. Okay, I make it about them. You know, so I'm not talking about my investing career. I'm not talking about, you know, this and that, because at the end of the day, very few people can care less about who you are. It's kind of like bragging on yourself, right? So me personally, I like to write something up that makes it more about them. Okay, so how they can feel confident, you know. So that's why I really start out with a bold statement on top. Then as they read through, I remind them again here. And then I actually put a form, step 1 form here. Okay. And I'm thinking about getting rid of this here too. So again, each page has purpose, and I don't really feel like the company page, I want to keep it simple and just give them one option, which is this. So I'm probably going to get rid of that. That's just me. right? Not saying that you guys have to. You know, I just feel like if they get to know me, they like me, I'm just making it easier for them to get started here. And plus, here's another thing that I want to go into here shortly is I've seen my metrics that shows a lot of traffic are going to my company page. So to me, it shows that it's important to them that they know who I am. So those are things to pay attention to. Very, very important that you guys are tracking. And a lot of that's already done for you inside your website. And I'll show you here shortly. Actually, let me just do it now because I don't want to forget later. So let's do this. I'm logging to my own account. All right, let's see. All right. So if you guys are logged into your own account, here's the dashboard. Just go over to stats and you'll see you can choose from 7 days, 30 days, 90 days, 180 days, 1 year, and all time. Okay. So you see how here, look just in the last 7 days, look at this, guys. Out of the 120 people that gone to my homepage, 44 of them have gone over to the company page. You see how important that is? Okay. So very, very important that you guys are paying attention to these metrics here, the company page. And in the last 7 days, out of 120, 44 of them hopped over to the company page, right? So, and then contact us page. A good chunk, nine people did, right? So if you guys really want to kind of gauge, this is how you can increase your conversion rate. See how people are engaging on your website. So let's go 30 days. Okay, so again, same thing. Look at that. Company page continues to be one of the biggest visits. That's just in the last 30 days. And also, FAQ page has been getting a lot of visits. So that's why I intentionally put videos, because that consistently has been, it's been consistent that people go to our company page or the testimonial page. So what did I do? I converted a lot of these texts into videos, okay, just to see how well they do. So and all we're doing is changing these videos to where it's just, instead of just it's exactly answering this in the exact same way, but it's done in video format. So we want to make it more friendly to do that. So so one interesting thing is a lot of people are going to the We Buy Houses page. So what I need to do is go over to the We Buy Houses page. Let's see, or how it works right here. Okay, so this is one of the visitor pages. So I need to ask myself, what are some ways I can leverage people are going to this page? Is there something I can add to make it easier? You know, maybe I'll create a video and put on this page that explains this thing more in detail in a video. Maybe I'll do that. Okay. So again, these are metrics to pay attention to. Now, if you guys are just getting started, this is probably not going to be really ideal because most of your visits are probably going to be it's just you coming to your site. So I know a lot of people say, man, I got 50 visits. I just started yesterday and 50 visits came to, I showed 50 visitors coming to my site and no one opted in. What's wrong? And a lot of times the majority of it is just you coming to your site. So there's a way I'm trying to work with the team to eliminate, remove those or not have those counted into the stats. It's when you're visiting your own website, because that can kind of be deceiving a little bit. So so yeah, you'll see here again, our company page continues to be, this is like in the last year, we've had over 17,000 visits, and then just in the last year, and a good chunk of those have gone to the company page, right? Okay, so we've done a lot of Google stuff. That's direct is probably YouTube marketing, because we don't really do anything other than Google and YouTube and Facebook retargeting, which is all this right here. Okay, so everything we do is online, right? So so yeah, pay attention to those. Pay attention to those guys. Very, very, very helpful insight that it can provide you. Okay. So let me get back to the slide. So very important. You localize the pictures again. If you go into the Carrot Guide, phase one, very, very simple to do. So let me show you how to get there. So when you're logged into your account, regardless of where you are, you'll see tutorials and support, Carrot Guide, then phase one. Phase one is pretty much where we walk you through everything that we're talking about, okay, including how to set up city landing pages if you're targeting multiple markets. Okay, so all this is inside phase one. If you guys need some, that step-by-step walkthrough. Okay. All right. Let's go back to this. Again, company name is approachable and friendly. Clean, crisp design. Solid. That's the company page. Right. So company name is approachable and friendly. Social proof. Again, case studies, testimonials, pictures, credibility badges, the BBB, anything that you're locally associated with that people are familiar with. Just having that little extra thing added to your website, I don't know how to say it, can make all the difference. Okay, so all right, let me just make sure there's no questions. Awesome. Okay, so again, also controlling the conversation, control the conversion around the brand first. Okay, so a lot of times, if you don't have that web presence to where you're not optimizing for your company, you're not controlling your reputation, that can hurt you as well. Because back to the non-trust factor. I remember, and I use this example all the time because it's happened to me a few times. And this happens to me in small markets. So I don't think it's just exclusive to small markets. Small markets is your website, is your business name branded or optimized on Google? Okay. So what are people finding when they're typing in your business name? All right. Because I remember, let me see. Let me bring it up. Crazy because it's actually one of my first websites. Just a second. So this is a small market that I'm in right now. This is one of my first ever websites. So a lot of stuff I've done, I've grown from. Maybe some things I've changed, some things I continue to do because it just works. But anyway, I've had a few leads in this small market. And the reason why I'm choosing this one is because it's a small market. So I don't want people to think it's just a city thing, but it's really everywhere. But I had this lady come to the site and she filled out the form and wanted to sell her house for cash. She was motivated to just move out of West Virginia down to actually North Carolina. And what happened was I was very interested, loved the area that she had her house in. Fortunately, she just owed a little bit too much on as far as making a cash transaction or a wholesale deal. So told her that, but man, she was kind of bummed. But again, I love the area. And we did rent to own in this particular market. So I just put it out there. I said, ma'am, I said, we can't do a cash deal, but still want to do business with you. So I still feel like we can help you. And this is how. And I explained to her. And because she was motivated, she considered it. She goes, let me think about it. Give me a week or two and I'll let you know. So and what ended up happening was I didn't even notice, but she went back to my website and started wanting to find out more information on my company, right? And I intentionally left this the way that it is because this is when I was first starting out, right? You see here, I don't have a company page. You see that? I don't have a company page, and that's crazy thinking back. And I kept this in place just as a teaching tool, this website, believe it or not. there's no company page. Okay. And now I used to tell people, well, I only get 3 or 4 leads a month. Not, and I used to blame the fact that it's a small market. It is a small market, right? And to me, I always blamed that because it's a small market. Why I didn't get more leads? But then as I grew in my marketing and knew what was important, um, that had played a role why I only got a certain amount of leads. Maybe I could have got an extra lead or two just by being more transparent because I didn't have a company page. Okay. And, but anyways, she said she couldn't find anything on my company. She had to really look. Then she found this right here. She found the name of my business. And what did she do? She went to Google. Okay. She went to Google and did a business name search. She said, I want to make sure that there is no negative reviews on you, or you've never been sued or anything like that. So she went to Google my business name, and all she found was the properties that I control. She doesn't know that, but I intentionally control page 1 of my business name, because you never know, guys. If someone says anything negative, you'll be amazed how that stuff can come up easily on Google, right? So me personally, I like to optimize and make sure that I fully control page 1 with my business name. Okay, so right here I got my Facebook page with including my ratings. Here's my credibility site that I have with Carrot, and some other property pages like YouTube, LinkedIn, YouTube. There's some other websites as well, right? So, it was really cool because most people will not go past page 1. So now what happens is if someone does say anything negative about me, it's really hard for them to penetrate page 1 because I control it with all my stuff, right? So anyways, she went to my website. She saw this, and then she went to my page and saw all the reviews, and then also she went to here. Okay. And she came here, and this is what really convinced her that we were a real company. That was her feedback, not mine. She said that, man, this really showed that you're a real company, because what we did is and I don't blame her. She wanted to make sure that we're legit, because what we offered her was terms. Okay. So we were going to be in a relationship for a while, right? Remember, she was going to be moving out of state. So she didn't want to have to be concerned or wonder, right? So this is what turned that around. And that led to a conversion, right? That led to a deal. Can you imagine if I didn't have this? Or, maybe it would have been easier if I had a company page. Who knows, right? So, but people are finding ways to find out who you are, to find out more about you. And the best way is to control that. Okay. So, so make sure that you guys are very, very transparent in your brand. That can make all the difference. And in some markets, they rather deal with that company approach than a personal approach. It just depends. Okay. So making sure that you're always control the conversation around your brand first, so don't be reactive. So again, make sure you have a solid about page that is personalized. As I showed you, I made that mistake of not having that. Okay. So optimize that page for your company and the location. Okay. Then again, also add, get some credibility done, whether it's BBB, or get some citations, because citations come up very easy for business names. Okay. So the more that your information's out there, citations actually come through really, really easy. So don't look at citations as just for ranking your website better, but also for branding as well. Okay. And one of my favorites, YouTube video optimization for company and location. Okay. Very, very easy to do. YouTube it has become super competitive with trying to optimize for keywords. Okay. For keywords, very tough, but very effective and still easy for optimizing for your business name. Okay, so very, very easy. So make sure that you guys are utilizing that. All right. So where do I start? And I'm big on the low hanging fruit. Low hanging fruit. So for me, guys, it's all about where am I marketing? Okay, where am I marketing? If you're having if you feel like you're getting a lot of traffic, you're getting a lot of people click on your ads, you gotta really find out what exactly are you saying in your message. Okay. I wish I thought I had put this in here. I'm not sure if it's saved or not, but if you guys are doing Facebook, understand Facebook. You have to be patient with Facebook, right? Facebook, you gotta be a lot more clear in what you do. Okay, so what I mean by that is how you track people and click on your ads going to determine what you're communicating. So for me, I'm very, very direct in my messaging. So I say I'm not a realtor. We're a local house buying company. We buy houses in as is condition, and you pay no fees. Okay, because if you begin to get too broad, like, hey, do you want to sell your house fast? Sometimes that can just that alone can be a hindrance. I was going to get on Facebook, but for some reason, I admit I lost my password. I was going to go on Facebook and take a look at some ads and show you what I mean by that. But when you begin to have ads that are just way too broad, let me see if I can find some. Okay, here's a good one. So I'm just going to kind of use this as a quick example. So this kind of really, let me see if I can. I'm trying to increase the, okay, maybe that will help. Okay. All right. So here's kind of now this is talking about Facebook ads audience size. Kind of ignored that, but I want to teach you more of the concept. Okay. So when you go the broad approach, okay, and of course, this kind of takes in consideration your location. So again, just bear with me. I'm talking about more of the broad or more of the concept. Okay. So when you're not crystal clear on your audience, right? And what you say in your message, when you're too broad with your messaging, yes, you could potentially reach more people. You're going to get more people clicking on your ad, right? But what's happening is they had their perception on what your service is. But what happened? They come to your site and come to realize, hey, this is one of those house buying companies. This is not what I was looking for. Maybe that person was looking for a realtor. Maybe they thought that you provide tips on how to sell. You'll be amazed how people's perception is on what you say. To like me and you, we think that we're crystal clear and communicating, but you'll be amazed just how far off we might be on how it's perceived when it comes to a motivated seller. Because most people will scan what's written. They scan text. And then some people, again, they're so caught up in the whole traditional real estate. So no matter what you say, they can always think you're a realtor. And so that's why if you're really being too broad, yes, you might get a lot of people coming to your site. You might be getting a lot of referral from your website or from Facebook to your website, but you're wondering, man, what's going on? I'm getting people on my site. This is working, but they're not converting. Then you begin to think something's wrong with the website. But yet, it's not the website. It's your message. Okay, you're not clear enough. That's why you're attracting the wrong people. That's why this call is about, it's not about, usually it's a traffic problem. And traffic just means you're bringing in the wrong people. Okay. So now if you move over to this stage, clearly defined, you'll probably reach less people, but you're going to attract the right people, right? Like for me personally, I would rather have 50 people fill out a form than have 500 people fill out a form. Because people say, oh, it's a numbers game, right? Yes, to an extent, that's true. But to me, I want to work efficiently, effectively. I want to be dealing with the right people. And to me, I'm not about numbers. I'm about quality, not quantity. Okay. So the more clearly you can be defined, yes, you'll have less people engage. But when they do engage, you're going to more likely attract the right people. So clearly defined could be, like I said, indicating that, hey, I'm not a realtor. We're a house buying company. We buy houses in as is condition. We're direct buyers. This is not a traditional real estate transaction. And you probably have to be careful on that. I don't want to come across like you're doing anything unethical. I'm just kind of using that as an example. But where you're just crystal clear who you are. And sometimes you got to be careful what images that you use too, because I know a lot of times I've used images that says soul, right? And what happened again, back to how do people equate that image to a soul sign? It's traditional real estate, right? Like anyone who sells their house by owner, when they sell it, they don't put a soul sign on the for sale by owner sign, right? Only realtors do that. So be careful also in the images that you're using. Okay. Be careful because again, images play a really strong role in perception. Okay. I remember years back when I first got started, I got a call from this lady who told me, hey, I'm wondering, I know kind of embarrassed to ask, but do you also buy houses that need a lot of work, fixer uppers? And I'm thinking in my own mind, yeah, of course we do. Like, did you not read the website? Did you not read through what we say? Yeah, that's what we're looking for, actually. So I was just kind of baffled by that. But so I end up asking her once I built some rapport with her. I said, ma'am, can I ask you a question? I said, can you tell me why? Tell me why you think that we only buy nice houses. She goes, oh, I saw the pictures on your website. And when I looked at my website, I was using images of nice looking houses, like almost after pictures. So see how that image played a big role on her perception. She only thought we bought nice houses. So that's why you got to be careful when you're using images. Don't use too nice of a house. I was doing a strategy call with someone who has this big mansion as their hero image. And I said, I probably wouldn't advise that because people are going to assume that you only buy, maybe upper, luxury homes, right? And what's going to happen is your everyday person is going to come to your site, respond to your ad, but then they see this image of a real nice house and they compare it to theirs. They're thinking, wait a minute, maybe this person only buys nice houses. What happens? They bounce. They keep searching. So images play a big role. So just be careful with that. Okay. And then narrow. This is probably the best place to be. I mean, this is where you're very, very specific. Like personally on Facebook, if you guys are going to do Facebook ads, if you're running direct mail in certain zip codes, run some ads in that zip code. Along with having that clearly defined message and using the right image, right? Those things combined, yes, you probably narrowed down to your reach to very, very little, but it's the right people, right? And when you reach the right people, that's when your conversion really, really takes off. Because I believe 100% on our websites. Okay. One of the biggest rules with me is conversion. That can hurt or help is how easy is it for people to engage with you, to give you their information. And And you all know with the carrot sites, that's what it's built for. Okay. So I always know that most times it's not a problem with the website. It's just more a conversion issue. Or if they are bringing the right people, they're just not personalizing their site to build that trust, to build that credibility in the minds of the motivated seller. Okay. So, great question. So, Michael, but aren't we looking to attract that 5% of the marketers that really need to sell or not to sell? Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. How do you differentiate your company services from house buyers? Well, I mean, that's the thing. That's something that you have to identify. You know, I always call, what's your unique selling proposition? So what I'm talking about is more concept. So how you identify that is really up to you. You know your market a lot better than I do. And you know your company and what sets itself apart from other competition. You should know that. Okay. And that's one thing I always encourage people to do is like, man, spend 5-10 minutes, maybe 30 minutes to identify what sets you apart and what's going to be your approach. What is the best approach in your particular market? Like in the markets I am, a lot of, we're referred to a lot as house buying companies. So we're using language that they're familiar with. Okay. Does that make sense? So it's not a matter of me kind of pulling out just any term, but because I know my customer and I know my market, I'm using terms that they're familiar with. And just through the feedback, a lot of people refer to us as house buying companies. So that's what that's the way I communicate. I kind of run within that same line because, again, everything is based on what they perceive. Okay, so hopefully that helps, Michael. But again, your first one, but aren't we looking to track the 5% of the market facilities that really? Yeah, of course. I'm not sure where I might have said something to that's contrary to that. So if I need to clarify something, definitely let me know. Okay. But awesome. How important are keywords? No branding with identity. So what we're talking about is more traffic and conversion stuff. So of course, keywords play a role if you're looking to optimize, you wanted to rank in Google, but that's kind of really not the focus of this call. More or less about having the right components in your website that can help. So as you do optimization, as you go after certain keywords, and plus keywords can really identify your ideal customer. Like I said, I would never optimize my website with, hey, if you need to sell your house. That's too broad because that's probably going to attract someone who just needs to sell their house. They're not motivated. But if you choose keywords that are how to sell my house fast or how to sell my house for cash in as is condition, those are keywords that are used by my perfect customer. Okay, so keywords do play a big role, of course, because that can determine who you bring in, okay, and how you use those words. I don't want to really say keywords, but just words in general, right? So again, back to what I said earlier is about, just the words house buyers, okay? So, and sometimes, yeah, you just got to tell them, hey, yeah, I am one of those house buying companies, but let me tell you why our company, you can count on our company, right? So it's not a matter of trying to make yourself different from the service you provide. It's just making sure that you make yourself stand out as a company. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Yep, TK, yes, I can see your question. Is this live chat? Yes, it is. Yeah, I think I just answered that. Don't keywords create traffic? Well, from the SEO sense, yes. But remember, traffic comes in many forms. You could be running Facebook ads. That creates traffic, can create traffic. You could be running Craigslist ads. That's create traffic. If you're wanting to optimize your site to where you're ranking in Google, yeah, keywords play a role in what you're ranking for. And that can bring in that traffic. So traffic is just not one dimensional. It's traffic is, and again, guys, traffic is simply people coming to your site. That's the least technical term definition is people come to your site. So people can come to your site through you putting your website on your direct mail, could be through when you're in conversation. Let's say you're cold calling, say, hey, go to this website, check out who we are. So traffic comes in many forms and is produced in different ways. Well, Michael, if that's the case in your market, then yeah, don't use house buyer. Like me personally, I don't use the word investor because it has such a negative tone. So again, what I'm telling you is you got to find what's your words. What's your approach? I'm just kind of just really going over the concept. So if you know in your market that a house buyer it has that negative tone, then don't use it. Definitely turn to something that is more positive. Like in my market, people are okay with house buyers because that's what they're looking for. Because that's what people tell us. Hey, are you guys house buyers? And you would say, yes, we are. Awesome. Great. Can you tell me more about it? So terminology is going to be used and perceived in different ways in different markets. So you just have to identify. That's one of the biggest things I tell people. It's very, very important that you investigate on your own on what's going to work. Like here's a good example. Like here's a good example right here. I have seen so many people copy my saying right here: to sell your house and be done, right? The only reason why I use this is because in this particular market, I have had so many people tell me, be done. I just want to be done. Can you help me? I just want to be done. Hey, will you buy my house? I just want to be done. So many people tell me that. So I put that into the language on my website for this market. But I've seen so many people just copy that because they think that that's just something great. Now, it could be great for your market. I don't know. But I always tell people, I put this here because it works for me in my market. And I'm not a big fan of just copying other people. And I'm not saying you guys are copying other people, but I'm just saying a lot of times, yes, it's good to look at a model that could possibly work or to mimic the model. But there's just certain things in real estate investing that I've seen that when you begin to not investigate what may really work in your market, we miss it. I've talked to so many investors that tell me, you know what, SEO just doesn't work in my market. PPC doesn't work in my market, which might be true, but are you investigating why it's not working? Or is it just because of your results? Which again, results can play a big factor in what works. It's a good metric to follow. But I'm just saying, if you guys copied me 100% in what has brought me success in this market, that same approach may not work in your market. And what's going to happen is you may have copied my roadmap, but then it didn't work for you. Then you think that SEO didn't work. So to me, you just have to really dig in and find out, okay, who are my people in my market? What's their terminology? What's their perception? And sometimes it's just a lot of asking. That's what I did. Every market that I'm in, I ask a ton of questions. When we talk to sellers, hey, why did you choose us? What was important to you? How did you find us? Have you ever, what has been your experience with other house buying companies in your market, right? If I'm not the only one that reached out to you, so we ask a lot of questions. So that's why we get a lot of great feedback. But I know at the same time, my approach here in Pittsburgh is not going to be the same in North Carolina or in Ohio. The approach has to be different. I got to do my study there to know what may work best and what my approach is going to be. So hopefully that makes sense. So TK, this call is more about traffic and conversion. So question is, how do you set up multiple keywords? There's a call that I'm going to recommend that would be perfect. TK, I'll send it to you. Let me see if I can find it. I know I kept reaching out, but Never can get a hold of you, TK. um, I can say it to TK because I know TK personally. So, um, all right. So TK, a great call for you to check out. That will answer all your questions. Is so we're in the coaching call right now. So what you're gonna do? You're gonna actually head over to help.oncarrot.com/calls, and I'll send that over to you. But there's a call. Let me see if I can find it, and I'll send you the direct link. We did a call just on that very question. It's not something I can really explain just in a short sentence. That's why we did a whole call on it. Let's see. Oh, right here. Number 143. Talk about this very thing. And I actually show a really cool hack at the end of the call on how to find multiple keywords. I like it. So, all right. You'll like that call, TK. It's a very good call. So make sure you check it out. And anybody else that wants to learn more about that, it's 143. All right, cool. Let's see. Okay, cool. Let's see. Do you like a simple landing page as the visitor first impression, or more of an in-depth web page with more links? Great question, Michael. So I'll tell you what I do, and I'll tell you why. So me personally, and I have some good data to back it up with. So I do a lot of pay-per-click in this market. Okay. And we spend, for a decent sized market, we spend okay. We probably spend about $500 to $700 a month. So, which is a good chunk. So, I know some markets ahead. Some people are probably saying, "Man, that's it," but we spend enough to really be effective. Let's just put it that way. But to answer your question, for motivated sellers, me personally, I like to direct them to the home page, and I'll tell you why. And at some points that you brought up earlier. So remember, people somehow heard about an investor or cash buyer or house buying company, however you want to say it. So they know kind of the idea of what we do, but again, they're skeptical. I believe they're skeptical. I believe that there's a lot of hesitation, like they're interested, but like, I'm not too sure. So me personally, I believe when they go to the website, when they go online, they're first looking for information. They want to know, is this legit? Is this a scam? What's the catch? How does this work? What's the process? There's all these questions that they want to know. And for that reason, I'm not really a fan of sending them to a squeeze page or a landing page. Okay. And what I mean by that is, let me show you an example. So landing page, guys, is what's traditionally known as a squeeze page. Okay, and I'll show you. Cost per lead is anywhere from 25 to $40. And that's documented. People freak out when I tell them that. But we're just so dialed in. That's why we do. That chart I showed you guys, I'm in the very narrow section. We really have it dialed in very well. That's why we spend very little but get high returns. So my acquisition costs per lead is anywhere from 25 to $40 tops. $40 is on the high end, but very rare. Landing pages, okay. And I believe, and I'll go into more of that here shortly. Okay, guys. So here's a landing page. Okay. So landing page is where you see how it's just thin content in a form. There's nowhere else for them to go. Okay. They can't navigate. They can't go anywhere else. Okay. Nowhere else other than this, this, and this. But this is a landing page. I don't believe it's a good idea to send someone who's skeptical, who wants to know how the process works, to a landing page. It's just not enough information. That's why personally, I send them to the home page. Now they can learn. They can click here. They can click here. They can go to the company page. I mean, pretty much they can navigate where they want. And the more that they navigate, the more trust that it builds. They want to know who we are. They can find out who we are. Right? They got questions. They can go to the FAQ. So the more freedom you give them, yes, some people might say, well, squeeze page, it keeps them focused. Yes, that's true. I love squeeze pages. I love landing pages, excuse me. But I just think there's a time and place for it. And personally, when someone is searching through Google, whether it's SEO or a pay-per-click, I just strongly believe that you got to send them the landing. You got to send them to a full website. Okay. So back to my pay-per-click. Again, we spend about $500 to $700 a month. Our acquisition cost per lead is about 25, 40 bucks. We get a little bit over 100 clicks per month, and we get about our conversion rate. Well, we get anywhere from 100 clicks to 150 clicks per month. And our conversion rate consistently, and I've shared these numbers on a lot of these calls, consistently anywhere from 20 to 50%. Consistently, that's our conversion rate. So one, I believe we're, first of all, attracting the right people because our ads are very narrow. Our audience is very narrow. Our message, our ads are very clear. And then we send them to a site to where they can navigate. They can build trust. And it's easy. Okay, so all those factors, I believe it's why we do so well and why it's so cheap. Yep, yeah, every market's different. I know. I know some people paying $125 per lead. I know some people paying $200 per lead. You know, every market's going to be different, and their approach is going to be different. You know, I don't really take the shotgun approach. That's why we only spend $500 to $700 a month, because we're very, very narrowed in. Okay, so that's why it makes sense. Our acquisition per lead is only 25 to 40 bucks per month, because we're taking this approach and not this approach. Okay, and we don't allow Google in any of our campaigns. Okay, so if you guys are doing pay-per-click, check out Coaching Call 135. I give a lot of data on my own PPC because we use that as an example. TK, you're still #1 in my book. Well, I hope so, buddy. So yeah, so again, so traffic really has to do with just, there's so many factors I want you guys to learn how to consider before thinking that you have a conversion issue. Okay. You know, like Facebook, you might have to reach 200 people before you get that one converted lead. So you got to be more patient with it, because, you know, reality is most people don't go to Facebook first. Okay. So you got to be more patient and understand that the conversion rate is not going to be spectacular, because Facebook is just not where someone goes initially. You know, that's why I focus on Google, because that's where people tend to go first to find that solution. So that's where I want to position myself, you know, but at the same time, not just position myself, but also have the right message and also make it easier for them to engage when they come to my site. Okay. So there's a lot of things that a lot of times we tend to think that there's a problem with the website. Something's wrong. I'm not getting any leads, but sometimes, just sometimes, it could be things that we're overlooking or not paying attention to. Okay, so it's not necessarily a problem. You just have to diagnose. There's a poster that I have on my wall. There's a poster I have on my wall that says, it's a good reminder for me. Before you can solve the problem, you need to diagnose it. Before you can diagnose it, you need to isolate it. So I remember when I first heard that, to me, it's like, wow, love it, because that's just my mindset. That's just the way my mind is programmed or framed for me to look at that way. So then that's been kind of my approach when I diagnose and look at something is, okay, let me step back instead of just assuming that it's this problem. Let's first make sure that it's not this or that. Okay, so but yeah, hopefully that makes sense. And also keep in mind, every market's different. And that's why I tell people, you got to know your customer. You got to know your people. You just can't have that same one-dimensional approach to every market the same. It's just not going to work. I mean, the success I'm having in Pittsburgh, I'm not having the same success in North Carolina or Ohio, because it's just different markets. I just have to learn how to adjust and do more research. So hopefully that's the purpose of this call, is help you guys to think things through more. And as you begin to do that, man, that's when you begin to get really good at marketing. You begin to really learn how to fine tune and really begin to, know where to put fuel on the fire and know where to focus more of your efforts, instead of that shotgun approach. Let's see, Adrian, doesn't it boil down to getting traffic first, and then conversion as without any traffic? Well, it's one of those things you got to look at from this point of view. Traffic is important, but it's getting the right people to your site. Okay, so of course everything starts with traffic. Everything starts with motivated sellers. Of course, that's the idea. I mean, we're not saying that otherwise. Of course, driving traffic. That's what marketing is. I think that's one of the things I said at the beginning of this presentation is right here. Right here. If you're not getting any leads, more than likely it's a traffic issue. Meaning, and when I say traffic, the type of traffic we're talking about primarily is what type of people are you getting to your site? Are you getting the wrong people? So I'm not talking about like I got 50 people. I'm not talking about number-wise traffic. Even though that's part of the definition, it's also learning how to get the right people to your site. Because I've seen so many people come to me who get 1,000 people to their site, or they do a pay-per-click campaign and they get 2,000 clicks and get 1,000 people to their site. So yeah, they're getting traffic because that's what you're supposed to do, but they're not getting the right people. So there's that balance and understanding. Yes, you need traffic. Yes, that's like the goal with the website is, how do I get people to my site? Okay. What marketing do I need to do to get people to my site? But at the same time, you got to think about, hey, I want to get the right people to my site, not just anybody. So. Yep. Yeah. And are you saying you need to be more selective about the type of traffic you're done? Yeah, I believe you should. I just don't want anybody to come to my site. I mean, it's great to be busy. I mean, if you want to be busy, yeah, get anybody to your site and play that numbers game. But to me, when you're wondering what's wrong and why people are not engaging, sometimes you got to focus not necessarily on how many people that's coming to your site, but who's coming to your site. Okay, so this call is a little bit more advanced. So just kind of, so what I would do is, maybe in the next day or two, just come back to this training call. And I guarantee that some of the stuff that maybe it wasn't really clicking or not understanding, and just kind of, as you kind of marry it, kind of just let that settle in, let it stew. You'll begin to better understand, because this is a very advanced topic in a lot of ways. So yes, of course you want traffic. You do want people to get to your site, but it's not about being busy and getting people just to your site, because what happens too, another thing that we didn't touch on is if you're getting the wrong people to your site and they're not engaging, so they're jumping on your site but leaving just as quickly, that can hurt you on SEO too, because Google is going to wonder why all these people are coming to your site but are leaving as fast as they came. So that, to Google, that's a signal that maybe your website is not great, and why should they promote you to page 1? Why should you move up in rankings? Again, if you weren't ranking, if SEO was a long-term goal, so a lot of times we may not be ranking as great because Google sees that we're getting a lot of people to the site, but very few people are engaging. So that's why I believe you do have to be selective, because I want people who will come to my site, and if they're the right people, they're going to engage. Okay, so a lot of it's psychology. A lot of it is understanding the different components, the different moving parts, and just trying to move and just trying to put it together. So, so if you're on this call, you're getting a lot of traffic, but no one's converting, I'm just saying you should investigate where those people are coming from. Now, if you're someone who's getting no traffic, and then that's what I say to them is you need to pick up your marketing. At the same time, you should be marketing where the people are going for help. Like if I was selling automotive parts, I probably don't want to be set up a booth at a grocery store. Okay, because people are going to the grocery store to buy food, not automotive parts. So everyone in this call is in a different place. We just kind of wanted to cover each aspect, and then hopefully you identify where you're at, so you'll know maybe what you need to diagnose. Because again, it's about showing you the concept. So hopefully that helps. If it does, great. And if it doesn't, really encourage you to set up a strategy call. I know that a lot of times people reach out to me on Facebook, but Facebook is probably not the best place to reach out to me because I get so many requests. So it's best just to set up a strategy call. Just go over to oncarrot.com/call. oncarrot.com/call. It's just best to schedule a call, and then we can definitely dive in to your particular situation, see, okay, where you at. Okay. So yeah, hopefully that helps, Michael. But great questions. Great questions. All right, man, time went by pretty fast. So any other questions? And I think if there is not, we're going to go ahead and bounce. I know this call was originally scheduled for Tuesday, but I'm so glad that you guys were able to hop on this call on this different day that we normally have the call. So awesome. All right. Let me just go through all the questions, make sure I didn't miss anything. So while I'm looking this over, now is your time to ask any additional questions, guys. All right. Let's make sure we went through everything. Cool. Okay. All right. I don't think there's any other questions. Just going to hold off just a few more just in case there's a delay. All right. I think we're good then. Awesome. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for hopping on this call. I'm glad that we're able to have you guys be on this call because it's a different day. So maybe some of you have adjusted your schedule just to make it to this call because it's not the typical Tuesday. We're done on the normal day, which is Tuesday. So, but yeah, if there's any questions that you guys come up with later, or maybe after this call is over, or maybe you're watching the recording, please send through the question, and we'll make sure to answer those questions and help you. That's what we're here for. So please don't ever hesitate to reach out. And of course, any other help you need, reach out to live support. They're always there every day, Monday through Friday, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. specific time. And they're always there to help you. So, All right. Just gonna say, have an awesome day. Enjoy the rest of the week, and hopefully, you guys all had a great July 4th celebration. And we will talk to you next week. Have a great day, guys.